Welcome back. Today, we're tearing into a financial mystery that absolutely rattled the digital investing world. We're going to map out the spectacular rise and the extremely sudden silent collapse of a platform known as Golden Vault Digital. And look, this isn't just some story about stolen money. It's a masterclass in how modern, tech-savvy fraud operates right out in broad daylight. Let's get into it.
I want you to imagine something for a second. You wake up on a completely regular Monday morning. You grab your phone, you open up your trusted investment app, and you see exactly that. Zero. Nothing. No warning email, no message from customer support, just a totally zeroed out bank account. Well, for thousands of investors, this absolute nightmare literally became a reality in the blink of an eye.
Okay, let's dive into part one, the perfect gold illusion.
So, you know how traditional physical gold works, right? It requires complex storage, expensive safety deposit boxes, and honestly, it's notoriously slow to liquidate. Golden Vault, on the other hand, offered this incredibly slick, modern alternative. We're talking fractional gold buying with just a few taps on your screen. They promised 100% physical gold backing in high-security vaults, plus the ability to sell your assets for instant cash right there in their seamless app. To a smart investor, it sounded like the perfect setup. I mean, safer than volatile crypto and infinitely easier than hauling around actual gold bars.
But you know, a slick app just isn't enough to hook people. They needed something bigger. So Golden Vault launched this wildly aggressive marketing campaign, plastering a staggering promise all over the internet. Guaranteed 12 to 18% annual returns. Think about that. When you combine the perceived safety of physical gold with the explosive growth of a high-yield stock, you are tapping straight into an investor's deepest desire for risk-free growth. Financial bloggers were raving about it, and social media influencers were getting paid big bucks to push this exact number to all their followers.
And it totally worked. Thanks to these super generous referral bonuses and just the constant, non-stop buzz happening in workplace break rooms and family group chats, the platform's growth was absolutely explosive. In just 2 short years, Golden Vault pulled in over $10 million in deposits. $10 million! From young professionals investing their monthly salaries to retirees literally trusting the app with their life savings, the whole operation appeared completely unstoppable.
Which brings us to part 2, warning signs and collapse.
The scammers' greatest weapon was honestly the fact that users rarely tried to withdraw their funds. But about 4 weeks out from the collapse, the cracks started to show. Users noticed sudden withdrawal delays and these weird, unexplained new fees. The company just brushed it off as banking delays. Then, 2 weeks prior, poof, customer support vanishes. Emails go completely unanswered, phone lines just ring dead. Fast forward to 24 hours before the crash, and the app suddenly starts experiencing these highly convenient maintenance periods, locking users out for hours at a time. By the time investors realized these were massive, glaring red flags, it was day zero, a total blackout. It's a Monday morning, the website won't load, the physical offices are empty, and the founders vanished into thin air.
So what happened to the money? Part 3, tracing the stolen funds.
Now, when investigators finally stepped in and systematically tore down this facade, the contrast was almost comical. You know those high-security, laser-guarded vaults from the ads? Yeah, they turned out to be standard rented storage units where their promotional videos were just staged. The official audit certificates? Entirely forged documents. And those really impressive gold bars, featured in all their glossy brochures, actually belonged to a completely different company. The real money had already been funneled through dozens of shell companies and transferred overseas. This scam was meticulously planned from day one.
Let's pause for a second and look at part 4, the human cost.
Because guys, we aren't just talking about abstract numbers moving through shell companies here. We're talking about real lives. A retired teacher who watched 30 years of careful saving just evaporate in a single morning. A young couple who had their entire first home fund totally wiped out. A small business owner who nearly tanked his own company because he thought he was making a smart hedge against inflation. And you know the most heartbreaking part? The victims often blame themselves for trusting the illusion. They suffered profound depression. They lost all trust in the financial system. The financial loss was devastating, sure, but the emotional damage, that ran so much deeper.
So how does this happen? Part 5, the psychology of fraud. Seriously, how did so many highly intelligent, entirely rational people fall for an illusion built on rented storage units and Photoshop? Well, experts point to what they call the Rule of 4, these distinct psychological triggers weaponized by the scammers. The first trigger is trust. I mean, Golden Vault didn't look like a scam. They used incredibly polished professional branding that totally bypassed our initial skepticism. By displaying fake security badges and fabricated audit certificates, they literally hijacked the visual language of legitimate banking. They built unearned trust before you even clicked deposit. The second trigger is greed, though honestly I prefer to call it the desire for security. When investors logged into their accounts, they saw these beautiful charts displaying rising gold prices. They saw automatic monthly profits just steadily ticking upward, and that steady visual dopamine hit completely blinded users to the inherent financial risks. When you feel like you found a unique, risk-free shortcut, you kind of just stop asking the hard questions, right?
The third trigger is social proof. This scam functioned exactly like a virus. It didn't just spread through random cold ads, it spread through trusted social circles. When your coworker recommends an app during a lunch break, or your absolute favorite social media influencer puts their own reputation on the line to endorse it, your brain just outsources its critical thinking to the group. You assume, hey, everyone else is doing it, so somebody must have done the research.
And the final piece of the rule of 4 is urgency. Scammers are experts at manufacturing artificial pressure. They offered limited-time referral bonuses and flash promotions to force these incredibly quick decisions. They wanted victims to pull the trigger and transfer their funds way before they had the time to step back, take a breath, and spot the glaring red flags buried in the platform's terms of service.
Which leads us to our final section, Part 6, Lessons for Digital Investors.
Okay, so here is your mandatory mental checklist for surviving the modern digital economy. Step 1. Never, ever trust a website's own badges. Verify financial licenses independently through official government or regulatory databases. Step 2. If a platform claims physical backing, demand third-party independent audits to confirm those assets actually exist out there in the real world. Step 3. If an app ever makes it difficult for you to access your own money, do not accept maintenance as an excuse. Treat withdrawal delays as a severe, immediate warning sign. And finally, Step 4, the golden rule. Scrutinize any platform offering guaranteed, risk-free, high returns. In finance, high returns always carry high risk. Independent knowledge is your absolute best defense against evolving, tech-savvy frauds.
To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. In the digital age, appearances can be deceiving. Transparency must be verified, not just advertised. Modern scammers don't need briefcases or secret meetings in parking garages anymore. A polished website and a really convincing promise can be enough to steal millions. So the next time you see a digital investment that looks incredibly bright, ask yourself, are you looking at real gold or just another brilliant illusion? Thanks for joining me, and stay vigilant out there.